Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us yet again on our weekly Mortgage in Review. I'm Alex Ward, broker owner of Maxwell Devonshire Realty and the 2022 Broker Manager of the Year for the Realtors Association of Edmonton. I have the absolute blessing to be joined today and every week by Kayla Frerot, Home Financing Advisor with ScotiaBank. And Kayla is going to be talking with us today about the advantages of porting and actually how does a qualifying rate work? Why are you seeing one thing online, but then when you go to do your approval, you're like, WTF, I didn't think that was going to be my interest rate. Well, Kayla will explain it all. And Kayla, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Alex. Good morning. So we are talking today about porting and the options that are available to you, as well as the qualifying rate. So how do you get approved? How does the bank work? When you look online, when you're looking at getting qualified for a mortgage, when you look online, you're going to see a whole bunch of different rates, depending on what sites you're on, which banking sites, financial institutions, are you on broker sites, how does that work? But when you go into the calculator, it's going to give you a rate. So normally that rate is the rate that's going to be your contract rate for your mortgage. So let's say you go online and your rate that they're quoting you is 6%. So you go in and you put your income information. It's going to ask you a few things about your bills and your monthly liabilities. So what kind of credit card payments do you have? Do you have a vehicle payment? Do you have any other payments that you make monthly? On top of that, it's going to give you that rate, and then it's going to tell you what your maximum affordable mortgage is. Now, when you're looking at that, that's great because it kind of gives you an idea of what those payments might look like monthly. Does that work into your budget? It gives you a good tool to be able to plan financially. However, when you actually come into the bank and you look at getting qualified for a mortgage, we qualify a bit differently. So depending on if you are porting, which I'm going to get into shortly, or if you're just coming in and you're getting current market rates, if you are getting quoted a 6% rate on your mortgage, we have to qualify you at 8%. So the Bank of Canada rules are, we qualify you at 5.25%, which is the Bank of Canada qualifying rate, or your contract rate plus 2, whichever one is bigger. Now, this all kind of goes back to the stress test when it first came out. So what they're wanting to do is qualify Canadians at a higher interest rate to make sure that if the rates go up and down, like we have seen the last couple of years, you will be able to afford your mortgage, especially if you're in a variable rate term and that payment's fluctuating. So just bear that in mind. So when you go in and your contract rate is 6, or that's what it's quoting you on the site, always make sure you check in with your financial person or your home finance advisor. Then we are qualifying you at plus 2% from that. So you always want to put that in, because if you qualify online for, let's say, $400,000, you're excited about it, you go out shopping with your realtor, you make an offer, and then all of a sudden you haven't got it pre-approved, which you should. All of a sudden you go to your bank to get the final approval in place and you can't qualify for that amount. So you never want that surprise, especially when you've already made an offer and you're excited about the new home. So always bear in mind, if you have any other questions, make sure that you reach out to your home financing advisor, of course, and just to make sure that you are qualified for the amount that you are looking for. So when we're talking about ports is an option that you can use if you have a current mortgage with your financial institution. Now, every financial institution is going to be a little bit different in how they go about their ports, but mainly what it is if you have a current mortgage and you're selling your current primary home, and you're moving into a new home, you can port your mortgage. So that means you basically pick up the mortgage from your current home and put it down on the new home. That means you get to keep your interest rate, which is a big thing right now, because if you have an interest rate of 3% or 2% or even lower, if you locked in when rates were nice and low, then you can retain that rate. So you keep your interest rate, you keep your current amortization, and you keep your current term. So let's say you're 3 years into your 5-year fixed term, because that's what you picked at the beginning, and you have 2 years left, then you can basically keep that 2 years intact and then have that lower interest rate for 2 years. Now, many questions that we get is, let's say your mortgage balance on your current mortgage is only $250,000 and you're wanting to get into a bigger home, and obviously that mortgage amount is going to be bigger. What happens then? So we keep your existing mortgage exactly as is. We can't add to it. We can pay it down, but we can't add to it. So if it's $250,000, we bring that over to the new home, and then any remaining amount that we're looking for in financing is locked into another mortgage at current market rates. So if you do have questions, you want to make sure that your mortgage is portable. So make sure your mortgage package does have that functionality in it. But a really great way to save money and keep that interest rate intact for those 2 years while we see what interest rates do in the market. So always a good option. So always make sure that you're asking if you have a current mortgage and you're moving into a new primary home, ask your financial institution if a port is available to you. So just some tips there. If you're looking for a home and you're scared a little bit about how high the interest rates are, that is an option to most mortgage holders. And that's kind of our spiel today.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely different institutions do their ports a little bit differently. Do you want to just touch on how it would work? Because what the timing should of a port should be, as well as are there any penalties and then potential rebates of penalties when someone does a port? Because that's always one of the main reasons to do a port as well, is to avoid the IRD penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you mean by timing? Just to clarify.
So do you need to buy the new home first? Does your place need to sell
Yes.
first? What's the
Yep.
process?
So we have, and again, this is specific to us, we have a 90-day time frame. So you have 90 days from when you sell your house or move into the new home for the port to go through. So, and also with ports as well. So if you're moving into a new home and let's say you want to take possession of your new home before the sale of your old home goes through, then you absolutely can do that. And as long as it's within those 90 days, the move-in dates. And then what we'll do is if you do port, you do waive that penalty. So if there was a penalty to pay out, that penalty is no longer there. So another option, exactly like you said, a really good perk of being able to port your mortgage is that you're not paying that penalty.
Nice. And that's regardless of porting before
Or
or
after, yeah.
sale
If you're
or
moving,
after.
sorry, if you're moving into the home before you take possession of the new home or moving into the home after the sale of your old home, it doesn't matter as long as it's within 90 days.
Nice. Well, this is why you want to reach out to Kayla Frerot, home financing advisor with Scotiabank, because she will be able to answer all of your questions when they are mortgage related. I'm Alex Ward, broker owner of Maxwell Devonshire Realty, the 2022 Broker Manager of the Year for the Realtors Association of Edmonton. And you've been watching us live on Facebook and listening to us on our podcast, Maxwell Devonshire Realty Podcast, or watching us on YouTube as a recording. So make sure you hit those subscribe button, hit those like buttons, and Facebook world, thank you so much for always tuning in live, and we appreciate you, and I can't wait until next week. See you.
Thank you.